welcome. Can you believe it? 118. We're well over 2 years, and tonight I'm just, my heart is warm, the soul is light because my very good friend Sandy Vlasek from Urban Eve, which is like a summit salon on steroids, Pearland, Houston, Texas, salon owner Jennifer and Jason. If you're, I know you got some family stuff going on, but I just want to tell you thank you for allowing Sandy to be on tonight. The conversation is just going to be so cool because Sandy's going to tell her story. Once upon a time, a couple of chapters ago, she was an independent stylist. Some really cool stuff happened to her. I'm going to let her tell you about that. And she, stepped into a summit salon called Urban Eve, and the rest is history, man. I mean, she's been making big boom boom like crazy. So before we bring her out, this is why I invited her. I mean, prior to her first year at Urban Eve, there was a $25,000 increase there because, as you're going to see, her biggest year as an independent was substantially less than that. And then look what happened last year. And look what she's trending this year. It's just huge. And that's like 32 hours a week. She's really an associate on steroids, level 4 AA, shareholder as well, 40 something, $800 average day, $155 average ticket, 67 women's haircut, referral rainmaker, rebooking at 80%, 18 RTS. I mean, this woman is like making big boom boom big time. She has put 7 associates on the floor. 5 of them now are in level, so she just continues to just blow it up. She'll be on in a couple of minutes to tell you her story. I don't want to tell you too much about it because I want to save it for her. But she's as much in the social media game as the 20-something. Her and I were chatting before the show. She said, what would you like out of this? I said, Sandy, you're a vision of what's possible for somebody that's been behind the chair 25 years. If there was more people that could be like you, it would be enormous. So I'll let her get into that. Social media wise, hangs out with a Galaxy 8, got 650 followers on her Instagram page. Sandy, hair colorist, Pearland, and most of her guests follow her. Most of her referrals come in via Instagram. She serves about 25 guests a week, engages in about 15 photo shoots. Every guest gets a picture. She's taken, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 pictures per. She's actually trained her associate to be as much a part of the photo shoot as, the traditional things that associates support us with. And most of her guests either repost a selfie or tag her. So, I mean, that's kind of like the basics. But what I thought we would do is I'm going to bring her in. She's in the green room. I want to have a conversation. You got to hear her story. And then as she talks about her story, there's 3 of her keys that I just love. So keep your fingers crossed, Rob. I want to make sure that we can get her. And there she is. Why don't you guys give it up for her, will ya?
Hello.
How are ya?
I'm great.
Well, did you hear me in the green room bragging on you?
I did.
I always look forward, Sandy, to all the guests that come in, but as I spoke with you on the phone to kind of prepare for the interview, I was just really moved by who you are and your journey, and I'm just looking so forward to having you share it tonight. So get us started. Chapter 1 is always, what was your life like before the big boom happened to you? You had a few years in the business before working with Jennifer. So tell us about that part.
I actually started out of beauty school in 1993, which is a long time before some of my coworkers were even born, and had a good life there behind the chair as a commissioned stylist. And just like any other stylist, I had this big crazy dream that I was going to have my own salon one day. And time went by, and being at that commission salon, it didn't have a system, kind of fell apart, and I went out on my own for about 12 years after that. When I was in my first commission salon, that's where I met our RDA rep, David McCord, who I owe most of all of this on him because he led me in the right direction. Went to him in dire straits because I was in a position where I was just stuck. I wasn't growing. I was watching a lot of my peers in the business in Houston, not to knock it, but they were just stuck and stale. And I had a family, and I went to David at RDA there in Webster and asked him for his help. And he led me to you guys at the summit and introduced me to the right people, Randy Kunkel as being one of them, and actually said that he would sponsor me. And he actually took my hand and literally, first he gave me tons and tons of summit CDs, because I told him I wanted to learn more about the business because I wanted to open my own salon, but I was always too afraid to do it. And then he took my hand and took me to Florida, and I stayed there for a week and met Randy, and my life changed that moment. My eyes were made to be wide open at that moment that I met you guys. And yeah, that's how all of that got started.
And then he I think introduced you to Jennifer.
Yeah, I went in with Randy, and part of the summit plan is that you bring all your financials. And so I took everything that I thought I was making a boatload of money. I thought I was, and took all my financials and my W-2s and all of these things. And I took them to Randy, and he and his sweet wife sat there while David sat right next to me and kind of held my hand quietly, because Randy told me he was a truth talker, and literally said, I'm not making as much money as I thought I was at the end of the day, because I, number one, wasn't growing people, and number two, I wasn't selling retail. And it was true. And what I thought was almost a six-figure, once you take out all your independent fees and whatnot, took me down to the 50s. And it was kind of sad. And I gave him my business plan and what my dream and vision was. And he said, you sound a lot like somebody I know. And being a Summit Salon gave me the name of Jennifer and Jason Culverhouse and said, you need to call them. They'll coach you. They'll help you in your journey. And so I did. And of course, that was David's contact. And David pointed me in the right direction and held my hand through that. And the rest was history. I called Jennifer and absolutely opened with her arms and said, come on in. You know,
Yeah.
she'd mentor me. And then the next thing you know, we were partners. And that wasn't what I set out to do. It's just what evolved. And I said yes. So yeah, that's how we got together.
You look up the word miracle, transformation in the dictionary, you Google it, you see a picture of Sandy, right? I mean, it's like your life has been extraordinary. And I really like the part of your story that, we think we're making more money than we are.
Yeah.
And that's a typical independent. And our colleague Dave Kirby puts it, some people go, I'm making more money than I've ever made. It's like, no, you're touching more money.
Seriously touching it.
Right?
Seriously.
But there's a difference between touching it and what you have. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. And I think Randy kind of helped you to become cognizant that you want to keep a lot more, introduces you to Jennifer. And your ride, what has it been, 3 years?
Yeah, we will be open 3 years this August.
I mean, so, you go from 50 a year to 75 to 100 something. You're trending 130 this year. 4 AA. You've got a lineage of associates. I mean, I don't know if somebody said, who do I know that has grown faster than that in the Summit system? Your pace has been like at Mach 5, and you're 40 something with 25 years behind the chair. Let's not forget to mention that a lot of people are burned out after that much.
Yeah, totally. I've watched a lot of people crash and burn, like literally.
Oh yeah. So here's what we're curious about. I mean, if the viewer has been listening, you are in a place 36 months, 36 months ago, you were in a place that's diametrically opposite than the position you're in now. And what I would be curious to know, and I'm sure our people watching, is how has your life changed? What is your life like now, and how is it different than it was, 36 months plus ago?
First of all, and I know this is probably, it's something that I think of right away, is that when you're independent, you don't get vacation days, paid vacation days. You don't work, you don't get paid, type of thing. That's been huge. Being part of a team has been amazing, but my home life has been different. My son's about to enroll in college here in August. My financial security is there. My support system is grown tremendously. You know, our team, our summit team is amazing. I mean, as far as my livelihood, it has only gotten better. So
we can only imagine. I mean, you've almost just this side of tripled your income. So, you know, inside of a 36-month window, that's unheard of. You're at a place now that many people will go through, many. God love us all, but will not experience what you're manifesting. So the other thing I wanted to ask you is, so where does Sandy go from here? What do you see for you in the next 1, 2, 3 years down the pike?
1, 2, 3 years. I'm going to put this out there because I know it's going to happen. Having a couple more salons under our belt. Pearland has grown so fast that we see ourselves at $1 million salons hopefully this year, and that's amazing. And we're getting to where we're at capacity with our team. And you know, we don't build a bigger salon; we just get another one, and that's what we're planning on doing. And I'm excited about the future. I mean, Urban Eve's growing like nobody's business. So
yeah, somebody just said, welcome to the 1%. You are in the 1% as we speak. Now, before we get into some of your keys and your best practices, what you know, there are a whole bunch of people, frankly, that are in the place you were at 36 months ago. You're in a place that's almost like you're like light years ahead of that. What might you say to them tonight that would invite them to kind of take pause, reflect on where they're at, and if they're watching you, and they would say, you know what, this sounds like it might be the next chapter of my life, but I'm scared to death. Like what might you say to them to give them hope?
Well, first of all, I was scared to death. You can ask David. David knows. We had, when he told me a million times, we've had this conversation 1,000 times. I was always scared. I was scared. I mean, some days I'm scared now too, but being alone in that business, being independent, you got to have people. And I would say get a coach. Yeah. Summit is amazing. I know this isn't all about the summit, but Summit changed my life. And had I not met the right people in the right time, I may still be doing what I was doing before, and which was not growing. Surround yourself with some positive people, and take the advice.
I just love it because you're right. I mean, it's while we're all in it for ourselves, we're not in it by ourselves. There's a community, and it's like the I can't, we can. The power of we is greater than me. I mean, that's what I basically hear you saying.
Absolutely.
So we have about 3-4 minutes left before we have to say goodbye. So I really want to make sure that the viewer has an opportunity. You've got 2 or 3 keys that I just absolutely love. When we were chatting, you sent me this consultation form. I'll put it on, I'll post it on the page once the interview is over. But tell us about that form, especially there's a piece of it where you get the guest to sign off on the social media waiver, which that's on a lot of people's mind, and the way you handle it is really cool. Talk about that one.
So Reckon had this really awesome consultation form. We felt like as a team that it was a little bit dated, and in order for our associates and our team to have the full concept of the consultation, we actually insert a little section in there that actually asks for permission to post before and afters of their makeover. And it was also a lead in to, hey, do you agree with everything that we talked about, the cost before create and all of those things, but tying that last little factor in there, can I share your pictures on social media? And they know we're going to share it on every single thing, and getting them excited about it from the get-go. So
yeah, and what I love about that, Sandy, is one of the most asked questions by people that are behind the chair that are not in the place with social media that you and some of your peers are at. Like, how do you get it going? How do you get permission to take pictures? How do you? And you're going, no, we on the consultation form, what the guest fills out, that gets handled on the front end, so it takes all of the awkwardness out of it.
Absolutely. And then they look forward to the picture at the end because they're like, hey, aren't you going to take my picture? I signed it. So,
Well,
yeah,
there's this other key. I was kind of scrolling on your news feed, and I noticed that you had you posted something, and you called it the most beautiful award goes to. And then the next post was, thank you for the referral, Mrs. Wilson. And it was like, that looked like a best practice to me. I wanted to give you a minute to maybe talk about what that is and how that's serving you.
Well, I mean, I base my business behind the chair mostly off of referrals from the people that are in my chair. And when people refer people to me, I then send a thank you. We write nice little thank you notes, but through social media too, I'll send the guest that referred the guest a thank you so much for sending in your friend, Miss Wilson or whoever, and let them see the picture. And then I got 2 rounds of people getting excited about it. I got Miss Wilson, and then I got the referred person that's actually getting that on hers too. So it goes both ways, and then they end up doing the marketing for you. I get super excited when they get super excited, and it's just another way to say thank you.
Once we end this interview, I'll actually show the viewer what we see, and then I'll post it on the page. So if they want to get inspired by it, they can. Now this last key, and then we'll let you go. You said something to me. You kind of sent me a last minute email, and I went, oh my God, you have to say that too, because you were saying yes, social media is important, but something else is important to Sandy that's a real big part of her life. What is that piece?
Well, I said a lot in my nervousness, but one of the biggest takeaways for me is that I really believe in our mission statement and making people feel beautiful from the inside out. And it's not just one type of person, it's all the people. So I'm trying to make it a point that every person that sits in my chair, they get an opportunity to have their picture on my page or Urban Eve's page, because we're making all people feel beautiful from the inside out. I'm not trying to, I'm old in the game as far as social media is concerned, but I'm not trying to get likes from my peers. I'm trying to make people feel beautiful from the inside out. So that's what I live by behind the chair. So, and I try not to compare myself to the younger people that are actually doing it, because I'm a fan of the old handshake and the natural networking and all of those things. I do use social media as a platform, but I like the human contact of it as well. So
I love it. Well, listen, this has been a historical interview, and I know that it's a little bit unsettling to be, on a platform like this. You knocked it out of the freaking park. I want everybody to you just like made big boom boom. We're gonna end the interview. I'm gonna have the world give it up for you. It's gonna stay on the page, and then we'll edit it and repost it. But on behalf of everybody that watches and the thousands that'll be watching this after tonight, thank you very much for giving up your day. I know you had a very full day behind the chair, and that you would give us a few minutes of your time to tell your story is extraordinary.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, let's give it up for one more time with you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Alrighty. Thank you.
All right. Beautiful, beautiful interview, you guys. I wanted to take a few minutes and actually show you her form, because it's just unbelievable how it is. So if you look at the form, her consultation form, and I'll post this on the page, you can see, do I have your permission to share your before and after photos on social media? Yes or no? Guest signature, stylist signature, dates. So it's a real graceful way for those of you that social media is new and you feel like awkward, like how do you get the conversation going? At Urban Eve, they actually get it going on the consultation form. So I wanted you to see that as well. Sandy then said that this is a virtual post where Adriana, most beautiful award goes, and you can see, and 36 likes, 14 comments. She follows up on all of them, and anytime she gets a referral, she'll post that. On Adriana's, it said, thank you for the referral of Mrs. Wilson. And this was because, as a result of this post, one of Adriana's followers, Mrs. Wilson, booked with Sandy. So she's posts on Adriana's page. Thanks for the Mrs. Wilson. We captured her beauty with color and Brazilian blowout today. Lovely woman, and I totally appreciate you. Love, love, love the referrals. I mean, this is like going on her guest page and bragging on her guests to do that is just phenomenal. And then she said, everyone finds a place on the Salon's page and on Sandy's page because that's her way of expressing love. So it's just amazing how that works. Let's give it up for one more time, you guys. Unfreaking believable how she makes big boom boom. So we're to the end of our ride. If you're new to our conversation, hang out, live on this page, like the page, follow the page, save the page. We're vlogging daily. We do Facebook Lives on a daily basis. Michael Cole Summit is the handle. You can also go Michael Cole Summit on Instagram. We blog frequently throughout the day, and now with Instagram's IGTV and with their stories and their highlights. So we're very much in the game. This is how we keep the conversation going. If you are a salon owner and you're partially in social media, but you have some people that are just struggling, Summit Salon Business Systems now has a virtual coaching team that will help your people to getting started on social. So you can actually call the 800 number or go on the website and for a free complimentary 1-hour consultation. I hope you take us up on that one. Hang out on summitsalon.com. Like I said, tonight was 118. We capture all of them, we edit all of them, we turn all of them into a micro learning of 2 to 3 minutes. And if you go to summitsalon.com and you /MC Live, you'll see all of our tapes in order, curated. This is for free, you guys. I can't believe that you wouldn't take advantage of that. And no, you don't have to watch them. You can Bluetooth your mobile device now to your car and then make the Facebook Lives an audio, a podcast to help you. So also, if you go on summitsalon.com and you scroll to mobile calculators on the homepage, we now have a number of calculators and tracking apps that you can use to measure what you treasure, figure out what your goals are. It breaks it down daily. So take us up on this. This is free stuff. So there's no commitment whatsoever. The tracking as well. So, if you are new to us and you don't know what Summit is, ask your either RDA, distributor sales consultant, your state distributor sales consultant, your salon-centric sales consultant to come in to talk to you about that, and they would be more than happy to do a complimentary scorecard. So we're out of time. I always like to end in gratitude. This is our sponsor, L'Oreal Professional Product Division. We've got Redken Purology, Matrix, L'Oreal Professional, Kerastase, Baxter, Essie, Shoe. These are the brands that support Summit Salon Business Center. So anytime you're buying, using, selling, you are really helping us to help you. So please be loyal to them for us. These are our distribution arms, Salon Centric, State Beauty. RDA tonight is in Houston. Thank you again, David McCourt, for doing that for us. Summit Salon Business Center, I'm a part of that group. They're my homies. We now have well over 3,000 salons that have been to Summit, makes up our community. We're just this side of 50,000 salon and spa professionals that make up. We're now a village. We're a city. So come and be a part of us and be part of Sandy's story as well. So great evening, and without any further ado, thanks for coming, and we can't wait to see you next week.